Okay, so I think we'll start chatting. So most of you saw my message on the WhatsApp group, just that today is new moon, and new moons are always a time for like self-reflection. I mean, it's going into the void, and it's almost like we stock take, and then we assess like what seeds we're going to plant going forward. And yeah, I mean, we're in deep times, and there's all kinds of very interesting astrological aspects unfolding. And I think that for me, during like new moons, it's always also a very good time to take care of yourself. It doesn't really matter where we are in the world or what's going on in our lives, but I'm sure all of us have been through a very interesting flow this whole year. And we have periods where it's more subtle and soft, and then periods where we're more challenged. But it's so important to take care of ourselves, because the moment we nurture and love ourselves, then it's so much easier to also more freely and more unconditionally give to others around us. So this whole feeling of like refilling our own cup, so that we able to give completely unconditionally without any expectation. And it requires like self-knowledge. In yoga it's called svadhyaya. And so getting to know what it is that we need in a particular moment in time, what's going to nourish and nurture us, so that we can give ourselves that medicine. All the intelligence we need is inside us, but it's just about slowing down and noticing where things are getting stuck, either mentally, emotionally, physically, and where we need to just untie the knots. And most of the time it's a knot that comes in the mind. And so today I want to invite you to really bring all of yourself to your practice. So it's going to be a much slower practice. I'm going to give options where you can turn it up or turn it down depending on where you are. But as we like start exploring, these subtle areas and openings and whatever, like observing what comes up for you, and just that moment of like radical self-honesty, where you can explore what it is that you need to nurture inside yourself, and where you need to let go of certain belief systems or certain kind of knots that come into the system, because it means that the energy can't flow freely. And usually it's some criticism we have of ourselves. We all of us do that, or some hidden aspect of yourself coming up that you'd rather kind of almost deny or pretend that it doesn't exist. But just kind of allowing all of it to come up, and being very open to whatever arises, so that you welcome all parts of yourself. And the moment we welcome all of ourselves, all the hidden emotions and the icky feelings and whatever it is that we'd rather not show to the world, once we allow all of that to come up, that's actually how it dissolves, is just by allowing it to be there. So, whatever comes up, and it might be that, some of you might be in a very clear space and feeling very vibrant, and then that's also beautiful, and celebrating that. So before we start the physical practice, there's just a few things that I'd like to show. So the one alignment thing that we worked on last week as well is just this movement of the tailbone to the pubic bone, and the pubic bone back towards the tailbone, so that essentially you get into the base of your pelvic floor. It's almost like you're creating a V shape. And then from the pelvic floor to lift the spine up to the base of the skull, so that the frontal lobes of the brain are still quiet and the crown of your head just lifts up. But exploring that lift from the pelvic floor to the base of the skull. And we'll be doing some back bends and everything, that we'll be opening up a lot of the front line of the body, and essentially, you know, it's also working on the vagus nerve, which is where we hold a lot of emotion and kind of lock a lot of emotion. And that goes through the throat, through the heart, through the lungs, into the digestive system. So especially with the back bends, you know, they can trigger a lot of emotion, but it's exploring that. So we're going to start off more with like a back bending sequence, and then we're going to move more into hip openers and forward bends and kind of more restorative postures as we continue. So the other thing that I'd like to say is that you'll have a few opportunities where we're going to come back into neutrality, which means that you're going to be in a dog stretch. And I know that there are a few of you that have shoulder niggles, so you can decide if you want to stay in your dog stretch, or if you just feel that you need to rest today, then you can be in a downward Adho Mukha Virasana, just with the arms relaxed. Those of you that are feeling energized, when we get to this junction, you can completely continue to just use it as a vinyasa opportunity, and you can flow in your own way, because we all kind of feeling different at different moments in time. And I've realized how important it is to also honor that. So really be where you are and do what nourishes you in this particular moment in time. So we're going to start in Virasana, and some of you might need your blocks. Okay, so let me just show from the back side. So the feet are going to be hip distance apart. We'll take the calf muscles out with the hands so that they go back and out, and then sitting either on a block in between your feet or onto the floor. Let me show from the front. The knees are going to be together. So you can either be on one block, two blocks, whatever it is that you need, and set yourself up so that you are facing the length of your mat, because we're going to release from there into dog stretch. So whatever you choose to sit on, whether it's one block, two blocks, whatever it is, just make sure that before you go in, that you take your calf muscles with your fingers back and out, so that you're sitting there. If you feel any sensitivity in your ankle area, if that's a bit too strong, or in fact in your knees, then you can just take your two blankets and you put them on top of each other, and you bring them under the line of your shin bone. So from your knees to your ankles, but your tops of your feet are onto the floor. So you can also be like that. So that will alleviate that pain. Otherwise, you can take a scarf, or you can take one little blanket behind your knees. If you feel that your knees are hurting, then you just pull a thin blanket in there. Okay. So whichever way you're finding your Virasana, make sure that you're comfortable there. And make sure that the calf muscles are completely out, so they're back and out. And then take your hands and just move your buttock flesh backwards so that you seated on the knuckles of your sitting bone. So you can take one hand at a time. And then do the same thing with your knees. So you're going to lift your knees up one at a time and just releasing your knees. And just feeling the depth of your sitting bones descending down. If there's any discomfort, please adjust and don't hesitate to ask me if you need any assistance. And then once you've got your seat, just let your hands relax, let your elbows relax. Lift your spine up and just look straight ahead in front of you. And when you feel ready, then very gently just let your top eyelid close onto your bottom eyelid, drawing your attention inward, bringing your awareness to your sitting bones and just feeling that sense of grounding in the moment, in your body, on your mat. Coil your tailbone to your pubic bone and then draw your pubic bone back towards your tailbone. So you get that connection in your pelvic floor, and then lifting up from your pelvic floor along the length of your spine to the base of your skull, to that brainstem area. Let your abdomen soften back to your lower spine and in the direction of your chest. Let your shoulder blades come deep into your back to lift up your sternum. And just smile your collarbones open, so there's a spaciousness in your heart. And then bring your palms of your hands together at your heart. Just feeling an equal touch between the two palms of your hands. Let your elbows settle back and down. Lift up your armpit chest. The tops of your shoulders release very gently down your back, away from your neck, so that your neck is free. Soften your throat. Relax your jaw and your tongue. And let your eyeballs very gently soften away from your eyelids, backwards to the base of your skull. And then let your eyes roll down in the direction of your heart. So there's a sense of looking inward and just feeling yourself energetically at this present moment in time. Equanimity. Just allowing whatever is present for you right now. So there's a warmth in the way that you hold yourself. Crown of your head just easing upward to the sky, and allow your breath to flow with absolute ease in and out of the passages of your nostrils. We'll open with one chant of Om. Exhale completely and inhale deeply. Bow your head to your heart, as in a gesture of surrendering that habitual thinking mind into that intuitive knowing of your own heart space. You release the backs of your hands onto your thighs. Very softly let your eyes open, and then from there raise your head back up. So you will be seated at the length of your mat. And now just observe. So as you're seated, we're going to go into dog stretch. But what I'd like to demonstrate is after that, we're going to walk forward. This is where you might need your blocks for your hands, Uttanasana. Those of you that can will just interlock your fingers and bring your arms up and over your head. Some of you might not be able to get that so easily. So you can bend your knees and you're going to take a belt. And then with the belt, bring your arms up and overhead. So it would look something more like that. So paying more attention to the length of your spine than necessarily to the length of your hamstrings. So from where you are, bring your hands forward. And then very gently, very slowly releasing your legs back into dog stretch. And you can walk your legs out. Just give your ankles and your knees an opportunity to circulate the energy there. Just taking your time to arrive in your dog stretch. Make any little movements that you need to make to find comfort there. And then as you stay now, spreading your fingers wide. Remember, at any point, those of you who have shoulder niggles, you can just drop into Adho Mukha Virasana and take rest. Otherwise, fingers spread wide, especially root down through the thumb and index finger side of your hand. Check that your outer edges of your feet are square, and from your middle calf muscles, root down through your heels. Draw up your front, your back, your inside and outsides of your thighs. So all the thigh muscles, draw them up. Roll your inner groins back. Roll your back groins out. And then externally rotate your inner upper arms. So roll your inner upper arms up and out. Move your chest to your thighs and move your front thighs to your back thighs. Morning, Jill. We're in a dog stretch. Hello, hello. And then from there, keeping your feet hip distance apart. Now walk your feet forward towards your hands. Use blocks under your hands if you need them. And your feet are nice and wide. And then let your upper body fold forward. If you need to bend your knees a little, please feel free to do so. Focus on the length of your spine. That's allowing your upper body to release forward. Drawing up all sets of your thigh muscles. So the front, back, inside, outside thighs, draw them up. Jeroen, bring your feet a little bit wider, then your head can go down much more. So for the moment, your hands are still down on the floor. We're going to interlock in a little while. So first, just arriving, letting the legs open up. For those of you with tighter hamstrings, remember that the wider your feet are, the easier your upper body will come down to the floor. So if you feel that your hamstrings are on the tighter side this morning, then you can step your feet even wider than your hips. And then you'll find that your upper body is much more willing to release. Let your head and your neck relax. And then from there, interlock your hands behind your back or take your belt between your hands and bring your arms up and over your head and let your upper body, like a waterfall, pour down towards the earth. So some of you might have your belt in between your hands. Again, here, it's much more important that you let your upper body release than what it is to keep your legs straight. So you're welcome to bend your knees. Let your head and your neck relax and release. Those of you interlocking your fingers behind your back, bring your hands to your sacrum. In fact, everybody, even if you're holding a belt, bring your hands to your sacrum. Now, those of you interlocking the fingers, change the interlock of your fingers. So the other index finger comes on top. And then again, bring your arms up and overhead, everyone. Those of you holding a belt, maybe you can walk your hands a little closer to each other and then bring your arms up and over. Let your upper body totally release to the earth. Let your head relax. So for those of you with hyper-extended elbows, I'm looking at you, Kari, and I think that Natalie as well. You've got to bend your elbows out a little bit. So it means that your hands are going to separate, bend your elbows out to the side. A little bit more, Kari. Yeah, bend your elbows out to the side. So yes, that's it. And now bring your arms up and over so that you're going into the shoulder area and not just hanging in the elbows. So you keep your elbows bent out to the side. Ilania, I think you might also need to do that variation. So you're bending the elbows out to the side. So it feels a bit uncomfortable at first. And then you've got to take it over. So your hands stay separate from each other. and you get that deeper opening in the shoulder area. Now from there, let go of your belt, let go of your hands and bring them down to the floor or onto your blocks once again. Bring your hands onto your hips. Now broadly spread your abdomen back to your spine and then come up to standing. And just wherever you're standing, make sure you can see the camera and then take your belt. So there's no loop in the belt. So if you do have a little loop, make sure the loop is closed. So you're going to take your whole belt or your scarf and then hold onto it. So you're gonna eventually find the right distance that works for you, but you want to grab hold of your belt in this manner so that you holding it fully. Some of you might need to hold further away. Some of you could come closer, but start at a reasonable distance, and then soon enough you'll know if you need to make it wider or not. Stand with your feet a little bit wider than your hips, outer edges of your feet square with each other, and just facing the camera so that you can observe. And we'll go together, but I'll show you from the side as we continue. So drawing your knees and thighs up, abdomen broadly back and up. Keep your arms straight, lock your elbows, reach your belt in front of you. And now see if you can keep your arms straight. That'll be the indication if you need to adjust your belt. And you're going to bring your arms up and over and all the way back. So you'll feel, wow, that's like quite a nice strong opening there. If you bend your elbows, it means that you need to bring your belt, your hands a little bit wider apart. So, and if you're not feeling any stretch, then you need to bring your hands closer. So some of you might need to adjust. And then again, your arms are straight and you're going to bring your arms up and all the way back, especially through that stronger spot. Go slowly as you move it backwards and forwards. So you'll find the right setting for yourself. Some of you might have open shoulders. You can hold a little tighter on the belt. Some of you have more tight shoulders and you're going to open it up a bit more and continue like that. So going forward and backward, and slow it down at first and make sure that your arms are staying fully straight while you're holding your belt. And you want to keep your arms straight as they go up and they go over. So you get that beautiful opening in the armpit chest area. Keep your lower front ribs connected, your head and your gaze straight forward, and just continue like that, warming up that shoulder girdle. So nice spacious movements backwards and forwards. Just stay with your normal rhythm of breath. Those of you with slight shoulder, elbow niggles, wrists, whatever, just take it slowly and easily and feel it out. So if you see me looking that way, I'm just looking at the bigger screen. That's it. So some of you might feel that your shoulders have warmed up and possibly you can take your belt a little tighter. And then you can continue like that. So maybe you can adjust a little bit, but be aware not to bend your elbows. Just a few more rounds like that, keeping your throat soft, your eyes relaxed. Just natural breathing as you let your shoulders open, you stimulating the lymphatic flow underneath your armpits, opening the throat. And finish the round that you are on and do one more final round in that way. And once you've done your final round, then just release your belt. Come a little closer to the camera. So we're going to do Warrior One, a very simple pose, but I want to go over some detail. We're going to hold it. And it might be that you feel it in your arms, but it's one of the only like really strong postures, and we're doing it as a preparation for the back bends. So what I want to demonstrate is that you're gonna turn the left toes in, first arms up, left toes in, right leg out. Here, you're going to readjust. So you're going to lift that left heel up and step it back. Okay. So just observing for the moment, we'll do in a little while. First, staying with the legs straight. Then today, you're going to hook your thumbs so that you can get that external rotation of the upper arms much easier. And from the rooting of that left heel, I'm just mirroring you for the moment, you're going to start bending that right knee. And then the lift again is going to be tailbone to pubic bone to tailbone, and you're lifting to the occipital. You want to keep this area spacious, but then begin to open your throat. So as you look upward, but not crunching the back of your head. So, and here you can even stretch your jaw. So even opening up and really just kind of preparing for back bend. So it might get strong in your arms, but like I say, it's going to be one stronger posture to build the heat, and then we're going to go into some back bending. So come and stand in the middle of your mat with your feet together, your fingertips to touch, and bend your knees, abdomen back to your lower spine. And then from here, jump your feet apart. If you have any niggles in your lower back, then you step. Outer edges of your feet in alignment with each other. Reach your arms up. Touch your palms of your hands together. So you're making a straight up arrow to the sky. Let the shoulders release down your back and roll your outer upper arms forward. So this already does so much work on the heart and your lungs. Then from there, turn your left toes in, turn your whole right leg out. And now from here, you're going to lift your left heel up and back and wrap that outer left hip forward and then root that left heel down. So that inner left groin rolls back, the back groin rolls out, and that outer left hip wraps forward. And I'm just mirroring you again. Both legs are straight for the moment. So it's like you're doing a meditation now. Hook your thumbs. Keep rooting down through that left heel. And then from that rooting, you're going to bend your right knee and sit down a little deeper into the pose. That's it. Keep that left heel rooted down. Coil your tailbone to your pubic bone to your tailbone. And then from that pelvic floor area, lift up to the base of your skull. And now bring your shoulder blades into your back so that you lift your chest up, open your throat, and look slightly up. But keep this space in the base of your skull. And stay and breathe. That's it. Very nice. Yeah. Take one more breath there. Try to keep your arms up if possible. So you're stimulating your heart and your lungs. Now bring your palms together, turn back to the center facing forward, releasing the shoulders down your back, outer upper arms rolling forward. Now turn your right toes in, turn your whole left leg out to the side. Lift your right heel up and wrap that outer right hip forward. And then root your right heel down. So that inner right groin rolls back, the back groin rolls out, and that outer right hip wraps forward. Both legs are straight for the moment. Hook your thumbs the opposite way. Root down through your right heel. And then from that sense of grounding through that right heel, now begin to bend that left knee as you come into the posture. So nice, that's it. So again, tailbone to pubic bone to tailbone. And then from that grip at the base of your pelvic floor, lift up to the base of your skull, that occipital area, that brainstem area. And then bring your shoulders into your back, lift up your chest, and from there begin to open your throat. Open your gaze upward to the sky. And some of you might even want to open your jaw, just breathing into it. That's it. To pull your left hip back a little more, right hip a little more forward. Yes, that's it. Beautiful. Try to keep your arms up and then slowly come back to squaring your feet to the front, palms of your hands together. And then reach your arms out to the side And now jump your feet together. Coming to stand in Tadasana. So come a little closer to the camera. I'm going to demonstrate the whole sequence. We're going to do different supine back bends. So just prone, sorry, not supine, but prone, lying down. So we'll start and just observe for now. So I'm going to demonstrate the whole sequence and then we'll practice it together. But when you begin, your arms are at a 45-degree angle forward. Then you're going to come into your dog stretch from there. We'll come forward. The first posture is going to be either a baby cobra. You can stay here in a swings pose, or full Bhujangasana. I'll give you instructions when we're there. In between, you'll just rest down. Once we've done 2, you'll rest with your hands under your forehead. And then from there, going back. So here, you can choose. You can either stay in your dog stretch, or you can relax in Adho Mukha Virasana. Or, as I mentioned before, you can take a flow. So if that's what you're feeling to do. Next pose, we're going to work on is Urdhva Mukha. Here, you're going to have your blocks onto the side of your waist, middle waist. Hands onto the blocks to lift up. We'll do 2. In between, you'll just keep your hands on your blocks and again resting. Back to dog stretch. Last posture in the sequence is Dhanurasana, holding onto the ankles. And then it's really the shin bones that are pulling back that lifts your chest. And again, we'll do 2 and we'll just relax in between. And then coming back into dog stretch, and eventually we'll all meet in Adho Mukha Virasana. Okay, so come and stand on your hands and your knees. Have your blocks close by. And then come and stand with your hands are about 45 degrees forward and your index fingers facing directly forward for today. Tuck your toes under. And then come into dog stretch, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Remember, at any point here, if you're dealing with shoulder stuff, you can just be in Adho Mukha Virasana. Keep that external rotation of your inner upper arms out. And the outer upper arms pull back and onto, it's like the upper arm muscles pull onto the upper arm bone. Relax your head and your neck. And you just exploring now, whatever sensations are coming up, whatever feelings are coming up for you. Inhale, come forward into Palakkasena, plank pose. Keep your abdomen back to your lower spine, and then drop your knees down onto the floor. Come to lie down on your abdomen. Point your toes back. Bring your elbows underneath your shoulders. Your feet are hip distance apart. Let your inner thighs roll up and out. Some of you might prefer to just stay here. So the action to unlock the lower back is pushing your pubic bone into the floor and up towards your breastbone, lifting your breastbone up. Those of you wanting to go further, you're going to push your hands into the floor. Elbows stay a little micro bend. Keep pushing your pubic bone forward and up. Lift up bring your shoulders into your back to lift up your chest. Open your throat. Some of you might even want to open your jaw and look up. Relax the tops of your shoulders, down your back, away from your ears. Yeah, that's it. Beautiful. And just feeling it out. So you essentially stimulating that vagus nerve, which brings us finally into the parasympathetic nervous system. But essentially you opening up energy flow inside you. Take one more breath there. And then just exhale, lie down, let your elbows relax. Keep your hands where they are if possible. And let your forehead relax down. So you just take a moment of breath. And then come back onto your forearms. So your elbows are directly underneath your shoulders. You're in a Sphinx pose to start off with. Keep your feet hip distance apart. And these inner groins roll back and out. So you get that wrapping of that area so that the lower back opens up. Push your pubic bone into the floor and up towards your breastbone. So you're pushing that way. Some of you now can straighten your arms a little bit and lift up and open up your throat. Shoulders into your back, shoulder blades into your back, but tops of your shoulders releasing down. Open up this armpit chest area. Open your jaw. It can be quite nice to just really stretch into that jaw area. Open your throat. Take one more spacious breath there, just encouraging that open flow of energy. And then exhale now, release and rest your hands under your forehead and relax your body into the earth. Let your heels drop out to the side. Bring your hands under your shoulders, tuck your toes under, push back into Adho Mukha Svanasana, dog stretch. And you can either stay in your dog stretch, or you can rest in Adho Mukha Virasana. Or for those of you who are feeling vigorous, you can take a little flow here in your own sacred way, whatever works for your body. So you exploring your own energy, whatever works for you right now. And then we'll all meet in dog stretch once again. Adho Mukha Svanasana. From Adho Mukha Svanasana, keep the broad spread of your abdomen back to your lower spine. Wave forward into plank, and then from plank, drop your knees down to the floor. Take your 2 blocks, bring them onto your mat. So make sure that they're not going to move in or out, and they're right on the edges of your mat. Check that they are evenly placed. Bring your hands onto your blocks. If you can, try to keep the heel of your hand on the blocks, and then lie down so that the blocks are to around the middle waist. Feet hip distance apart. Root the heels of your hands to your capacity, and just relax your forehead down for the moment. Press into the tops of your feet. Draw all your thigh muscles, front, back, inside, outside thighs up. Then press into your hands in the tops of your feet, and now lift your pubic bone, your thighs, your chest up off the floor and coil back, opening your throat up. Keep drawing the thigh muscles up. That's also going to protect your lower back. Tailbone to pubic bone to tailbone, and lift up to the base of your skull. Keep the base of your skull spacious, but open your throat. And again, you can open your jaw, look up. Take one more breath. Keep your hands onto your blocks, and then exhale slowly, lower down, and just rest your forehead. So your hands are still on your blocks. The shoulders are still opening up. And now one more time, press down through the tops of your feet, press down through your hands. Inhale, lift your thighs up, lift your pubic bone up, lift your chest up, shoulders into your back. Let the tops of your shoulders release. Open your throat, but keep the space in that occipital area, that brainstem area. And then stretch your jaw. And really, you're just opening up all the way from the throat, through your heart, through your lungs, through your digestive organs, into your stomach. Exhale, lie down. Relax your head on your hands. Let your heels drop out to the side, and just notice the subtle changes. So it's like you ironing out these energetic knots. Exploring what's coming up for you, allowing. Natalie, you can relax your hands under your forehead now. Yeah. And then bring your hands under your shoulders and tuck your toes under and push back into dog stretch. First, take your blocks off the floor. Sorry, take your blocks off your mat. And then go back into Adho Mukha Svanasana, dog stretch. Some of you are just going to stay in your dog stretch. Some of you are going to relax in Adho Mukha Virasana. And some of you might want to take a flow. So really feel intuitively what your body needs right now and go through that movement. Yeah, beautiful. Just feeling what nourishes you in this moment. And then we'll all meet in Adho Mukha Svanasana. So last back bend in this sequence. Coming forward into plank. And then from plank, dropping down onto your knees and come to lie down again on your forearms. Your elbows are directly underneath your shoulders, toes pointing back. And from here, we're going to go into Dhanurasana Bow Pose. So bending your knees, take hold of the ankles from the outside. If you can, try to hold closer to your shin bones and try to keep your knees and your ankles in alignment with each other. So you're not trying to lift your chest, but by pulling your shins back and up and your thighs off the floor, your chest automatically begins to lift. Hold it there. Inner groins, roll them back and out. Pubic bone to breastbone up. Bring your shoulders into your back. Pull your shin bones back and up. Lift a little bit higher. Open up your throat area. Take one more breath there. And then exhale, release, and relax your head onto your hands. Let your heels drop out to the side and just explore. Explore your heartbeat. Explore the feelings coming up. And we're going to do one more Dhanurasana. So if anybody's struggling to catch their ankles, please let me know. Then I'll give you a different variation. Okay, so Jeroen, come to sit back, and you're going to take your belt here, like that. Make sure it's all the way forward. And then you're going to come to lie down from there. And then take hold of your belt. And then you can from there lift your legs up and then walk your hands closer to your feet. So you're going to walk it up, walk it up, walk it up. You can use the belt. Okay. Everybody else can start on your forearms. And then from there, bend your knees. Catch hold of your ankles. Again, check that your ankles and your knees are in one line. And then pull your shin bones up and back. Lift your thighs off the floor. And see, this time, can you lift a little bit higher up? That's it, Jeroen. And walk your hands closer to your feet. That's it. Lift up a little higher. Open. Make an effort to open up. This is the last back bend. This whole throat area. Your heart, your lungs, your digestive organs. Keep the space in the base of your skull. Take one more breath. Lift a little bit higher up. And then exhale, release. Yeah, Joel, I'm seeing you. Hands under your forehead. And then let go. Let your heels drop out to the side. And just feel what's coming up for you. Carmela, take your hands under your forehead. So, yeah, like that. Yes, exactly. And then just let go. So you're exploring, feeling, being in the moment. Bring your hands now under your shoulders, tuck your toes under and push back into dog stretch, Adho Mukha Svanasana. And from Adho Mukha Svanasana, come into Adho Mukha Virasana. And let your arms relax, let your elbows drop out to the side. Just let your body settle there. So we're going to move in a different direction from here onwards. From there, roll your body up and come and just have a look
at the camera. So following that, you're going to lie down on your back. So just observe for now, and then we'll do it together in a moment. So you're going to lie down as I'm lying down now. Then a figure of 4 with your right leg over, wrapping around, so the right arm comes through. Here, either holding onto the shin bone. If you can't reach, you can also hold onto the back of the thigh. Those of you that find that you're lifting up and you're off the floor, take some support for your head. So whatever it is that you need behind you, just making sure that you support it. And so we'll do both sides. Then after that, you're going to come into just a releasing, hello nookies, into a releasing, what's it called, the twist. And then keeping your head straight, you're going to rock forward and backwards just slowly and coming into your dog stretch from there. Okay, so come and lie down onto your back now. Your feet are hip distance apart. And just let your lower back and your sacral area settle into the earth. Take a moment to land there. And now cross your little toe side of your right foot onto the middle of your left thigh. So you're making a figure of 4 with this right leg. Loop your right arm through that little eye of the 4 and take your left hand around and hold onto your left shin bone. Interlock your fingers right at the web of your fingers. If you can't hold onto the shin bone, then hold onto the back of your thigh. Again, if your body's lifting up, then take a block or whatever support you need under your head. And make sure that there's a balance between your sacrum and your lower back rooting down and your foot coming closer to that left shoulder. So you're pulling that left shin bone in. Letting the lower back relax and release. How you feel? You're also doing yoga this morning. So continue to explore. Can you bring that right foot closer to your left shoulder and keep your lower back rooted? Jeroen, stay on that side, but just know that you are on the opposite side for the moment. But that's cool. Keep your shoulder blades into the earth, collarbones open. You perfect, Joel. You can relax there. And then release. Step both your feet onto the floor. Just letting that lower abdominal area also settle deep into your body. And now change. Bring the little toe side of your left foot to the front of your right thigh. So you make a figure of 4. Weave this left arm through the eye of that 4. Right hand around. Hold on to your shin bone or hold on to the back of the thigh. And again, those of you needing support, you'll just take it behind your head. And then finding, again, a balance between the sacrum and the lower back rooting down and your ability to bring that left foot towards your right shoulder, the right front shoulder. So you're pulling on that right shin bone to bring it closer to your body. But keeping that lower back area also rooting down. So I see some of you need to work a little bit more on rooting the lower back. So you're doing 2 opposite actions simultaneously. Keep that right foot slightly flexed, the left foot slightly flexed to the midline. Just exploring, what's there in this moment. And then from there, release. Step your feet onto the earth.
And now hug both your knees into your chest for Muktasana. Continue to hold onto your right knee and stretch your left leg away from your upper body. Bring your right arm out to the right side, and with your left hand, take that right knee across. And for today, pin your right knee onto the floor as best you can, even if the right shoulder blade lifts up. And then you root your right shoulder blade down. So you find a nice strong opening. Keep your head in neutral for today. So you're not looking over to the side, rather working with the cross pull of your knee and your shoulder. Keeping your left leg straight. That's it, yes. Nice, spacious, deep breaths, just feeling. This is a very simple stretch, but it can be quite profound in just telling us what's happening in the body. Now coming back to the center. Hug both your knees into your chest. Continue to hold on to your left knee and straighten your right leg away from your upper body. Bring your left arm out to the left side, and with your right hand, take that left knee across. And again, try to pin it down. And then you root that left shoulder blade down. So it's a little bit of a stronger cross stretch, keeping the head in neutral for today. And just exploring, feeling, being, seeing what comes up for you in the silence. It's that full acceptance and surrender to what is in this moment. And then come back to the center. Hug both your knees in towards your chest. And then from there, keeping your neck straight, begin to rock yourself forward and backwards, so that you build momentum. And when you feel ready, you're going to either step or jump into your dog stretch or Adho Mukha Virasana, or you can take a flow. So see what works for your body, what you need right now. It's really starting to feel with your intuition, what is it that nourishes you? Any little movements you feel to make there. And then we'll all meet in dog stretch, back into Adho Mukha Svanasana. And from Adho Mukha Svanasana, walk your feet forward. Use your blocks if you need it, coming to Uttanasana. Your feet can either be together or a little bit apart, depending on the length of your hamstrings. Let your upper body release completely. And then bring your hands onto your hips. Lift your chest up and come up to standing. Okay, so come a little closer to the camera. So from here, can we take your house cleaning somewhere else? So we're going to come into like a deeper opening in the outer hips. But what I'd like to show is, so some of you are going to be in a cross-legged position. You might need to sit on some height. If you find that there's a discrepancy here, then you're going to roll a blanket, and you're going to bring the blanket roll to support your shin bones. And then some of you are going to be able to take the leg in a double pigeon. So bringing the foot onto here. So take whatever support you need and come and sit facing the camera so that we can flow together. If you find that you're rolling backwards, that's an indication that you need to sit on some height. So come to sit in Dandasana. Take your hands, move your buttock flesh backward. So you're seated on your sitting bones. And now cross your right leg in front of your left leg. So if you need some support, you can either sit on a block or 2 blocks. If you find that your knees can't settle down easily, then take a blanket roll and support your shins.
Okay, and those of you going further, you're going to take your right foot and place it on top of your inner left knee so that the shins are stacked parallel. And if you're in this variation and you've got a gap here, then you can also take your blanket and put it in the gap. But be sure you're in the right variation that works for your body. And then from there, when you are ready, take your arms wide and begin to fold your body forward. If you come quite close to the earth, you can drop your head, or you can take a block and support your head, or you can just relax your neck. Let your elbows relax, let your shoulders relax. So there's a softening into whatever shape it is. Thanks, Fila. Thank you. So take whatever shape it is that works for you and let go. Let your shoulders relax. Jill's got a beautiful dog. That's good support. Everybody's got their support systems. Corey's got a kitten. Check that the skin of your forehead is softening in the direction of your heart space. And again, just in the silence, feeling, allowing all the feels, whatever is there right now, just allowing that to arise and come up. It might be that your mind is telling you want to get to the next moment. It might be deeper emotions, whatever it is, just allowing it. You just being. Letting the feeling and the experience of this moment flow through you. And from there, come back up. Remove your props. If you're seated on something, stay seated on it. Coming to Dandasana once again. And now cross your left leg in front of your right leg. Again, in the middle of your shins. If you need to support your shins, please do so. So you want to be able to settle the knees completely. And those of you taking the stronger variation, you're going to take your left foot on top of the right inner knee. The shins are stacked directly on top of each other. Again, if there's a little discrepancy here, please use a blanket or something so that the hips and the knees are supported when you support your shin bones or with the blanket. And now take your hands wider apart. And again, let your body fold forward. Use support for your head if you would like it. Elbows relax. Shoulders relax. And again, whichever shape you've taken, let the skin of your forehead soften down in the direction of your heart space. And just allowing the feelings that are coming up for you. Whatever it is. Let your breath flow with fluidity. And you holding space for yourself in the silence. A real sense of allowing. And in that allowing, you really nourishing yourself because you opening up to a higher energy flow. Not obstructing that light that wants to come in. And then from there, slowly come back up. Straighten your legs out in front of you. And come a little closer to the camera just to have a look. So we're going to take this now into a pigeon shape. Some of you might want your blocks for support. I'm just going to keep it on this side. But what I'd like to demonstrate, so we're going to come from dog stretch. You're going to step your right foot forward and walking this right heel over, the knee out to the side. So the more the knee goes out to the side, the stronger the position is going to be, as well as the more forward your shin bone is. So if you want to tone it down, you bring this foot in and you bring the knee forward a little bit more. Okay, and I just want to show from this side as well. So what's also very important and a good indicator if whether you've gone too far, if this left hip is rolling up like that, then you've taken a position that's too strong for you. Then you need to bring the foot in a little bit because this outer hip needs to roll down. So the first part of the posture, we're going to be here, and you can support. Now I need to show from the other side again. You need to support. If you can't sit easily like this, you need to support your thigh. So it's the back of the thigh that's supported. The sitting bone is off. Okay, and then from there we'll stay here for a bit, toes, back toes tucked under, arms out, hands interlocked and pulling them back. So we'll get that opening of the front body. And then from there, finally, you're going to lie down. And when you lie down, it's walking crosswise away from the knee that is bent. And then from there, you're going to settle down to the earth. Okay, and then coming up back into dog stretch, and we'll do the other side. So come and stand on your hands and your knees. Have your blocks close by. And bring your arms a little bit forward so they're at a 45-degree angle. And then from there, tuck your toes under, coming into your dog stretch. Keep the external rotation of your inner upper arms. Step your right foot forward, drop your left knee down. So you're in a lunge for the moment. And now walk this right heel over towards your left hip and drop your right knee out to the right side and just feel it out. You're on your fingertips for the moment. See, do you need support under that right thigh? Then you're going to take your block behind the back of the thigh. So the sitting bone is still hanging off the back side. Check that this outer left hip can wrap forward and down. Left toes are tucked under, and then just be on your fingertips. Bring your tailbone to your pubic bone to your tailbone, and lift up from the pelvic floor to the base of your skull. Now, so if you find it's going to be difficult for you to let go of your hands, then you can just stay on your fingertips. But for those of you who are able, and especially if you've got a block or two for support under your thigh, then interlock your hands behind your back, keep your left toes tucked under, and I'll pull your arms back and up and lift up your front spine. So keeping the space in this occipital area, open your front body, open your throat, and look up to the sky. Natalie, just be careful here. Yeah, okay, but you're looking good. Yeah, okay, that's amazing. That's perfect what you're doing, yeah. And then from there, slowly release your hands down and now walk across, away from your right knee, across to your left side. Lengthen both sides of your body equally. And then let your head relax onto the floor and let your left toes now release down. And just exploring whatever sensations are coming up for you. Relax your elbows wide, because that's going to let your shoulders release. Yes, that's it. Nice, Marilla, yeah. And just that sense of allowing yourself to be where you are and developing that self-knowledge as you slow down, noticing where you're gripping, where you're hardening. And again, you're looking at it like with an absolute sense of nurturing and self-love. So when you come to an obstacle and you notice something, either in the mind or the body,
you're just allowing it to be there. And by allowing it, it starts dissolving already. So there's a real deep sense of self-compassion that then translates into compassion for others around us. Last few moments. Then very slowly walk your hands back up. Tuck your left toes under. Press your hands down into the floor. Step back into dog stretch. And here you can walk your legs out. Do whatever you need to do. Those of you who would like to take a flow, take a flow. If you would like to rest in Adho Mukha Virasana, do so. So whatever you need to kind of let go that moment, it's already past. And we're in a fresh new moment now. And then we'll all meet back in dog stretch. Adho Mukha Svanasana. From there, stepping your left foot forward now and drop your right knee down onto the floor, keeping the right toes tucked under. Walk your left heel over to your right hip, the knee out to the side. So again, you're going to assess how strong you want this angle to be. Those of you using support, it's under the back of the thigh. So the sitting bone is free. And then come up onto your fingertips. And stay there for the moment. So tailbone to pubic bone to tailbone. So you get that V in the pelvic floor and then lift up from the pelvic floor to the base of your head, shoulders into your back, chest open, throat open. Those of you who can, change the interlock of your fingers behind you and pull your arms back and up. That's lifting the front spine up. Your right toes are tucked under for the moment, so you can use that to lift up. Open your throat. So that whole vagus nerve area opening up. And now exhale, release your hands down and walk to the opposite of that left knee. So you're walking in the opposite direction and let eventually your right toes go. And then settle your body down. Let your elbows relax. Let your forehead relax. So widen your base of your arms. That's going to open your heart. And then you allowing the feelings as they are. So sometimes we narrow and then everything starts contracting in the heart space. Can you just let it open up and soften down? You can even rest your head on another block if you would like to. Just allow your breath to flow freely. So whatever it is that you encounter, whatever physical sensations or emotions, just letting it be. So that as we allow it, Joel, the left step is forward. I'm going to show you. So that you allow that higher intelligence to come in. Because often when we think too much or we overemphasize the emotions, and then that intelligence can't come through so clearly. It's always there. But just in the letting go, it makes space. Kari, walk over to the opposite side, so away from tube. Yeah, more. Yes, even more. Yes. Okay. And then from there, slowly walk your hands back up, hands under your shoulders. Tuck your back toes under and then step back into your dog stretch. Again, walking it out. Some of you might feel to go through a vinyasa. Some of you might just want to rest in Adho Mukha Virasana, whatever works for your body. So you're just kind of ironing out that moment, letting it go, releasing it. And then from there, we'll all meet in Adho Mukha Virasana. Just taking a moment of rest. And then bring your hands under your shoulders, roll your body up, and come up and come towards your camera. And I'd like to demonstrate the next posture. So some of you might need 2 belts or 2 scarves or whatever it is. So what you've got, okay? So have them close by. And some of you might need to sit on a block or 2 blocks, depending on what's happening with your body. So just make sure that wherever you are, you can clearly see. So I'll demonstrate first and then we'll do it together. So we're going to come into a variation of Ardha Matsyendrasana 2. And we'll take, instead of a lotus, we'll just take a Janu Sirsasana. So the full posture looks like this. Holding onto the left outer foot with the right hand and wrapping this left arm around. I'm mirroring you. And holding either the inner thigh or the shin bone. And then it's like shooting a bow and arrow in that corner. So when we come into the posture, you're going to do a little check first. And if you're not able to catch the left foot, you'll have 1 belt there. And if you're not able to catch the right thigh, then you'll have 1 belt there. Okay, so we'll go together and we'll just test it out. So come and sit first in Dandasana on your mat and face forward towards the camera so that you can kind of just go with my movements. The left leg is active. And then take your right knee and bend it and bring the sole of your right foot to your left inner thigh. So for those of you, if you have knee niggles by now, you know you can put a scarf or a belt or something behind that knee joint. Also make sure that you support the knee if you're sitting higher up. And then Nabu loves the belts. So first do a little test. Reach your right arm up and see, can you catch the outside of your toe of your little foot? Your outside area of your left foot. And if you can't, then you know you need a belt around that foot. And you can loop it there. And then do another test and swing this left arm around and see, can you catch the inside of your right thigh or your right shin bone? And if you can't, then again, you take a belt around there. I'm in a dangerous position here with Nabu. Okay, then you take another belt around your thigh. So then from there, for most people, it's easier to start by wrapping this left arm around. So wrap your left arm around and catch either your belt or the inside of your right thigh. Or if you can manage, if you've got long arms, then you can catch your shin bone. And now take your right arm up and catch either the little toe side of your left foot or you catch your belt. And now turn your abdomen, your chest, and your gaze back towards the left-hand corner. So it's like you're going to shoot a bow and arrow up into that corner. Keep your abdomen back to your lower spine. Bring your dorsal thoracic area, that area underneath your shoulder blades and the shoulder blade area, deep into your back. So you lift up your chest. And continue to pull with your hands, like you're starting to string that bow and you're going to shoot it off into that left-hand corner. Keep your throat soft. Very nice awakening of the kidney area. That's it, Ilanya. And now sit up and back, turn more to your left side. Pull back and up, back and up, back and up. So the idea is not to fold forward at all. It's more pulling to that left-hand corner. Let's explore the subtlety of sensations there.
from there, release. Come to seated back in Dandasana. Legs straight out in front of you. Now bend up your left knee. Bring the sole of the foot to your right inner thigh. And if you're seated on support, stay on support. Right thigh is active. And then if you use your belts, I wonder if Nabu will let me take this one, yes. Then you can take one belt around your right foot and one belt around your left upper thigh. So take whatever support you need. And then face directly forward with your torso. Inhale. So for most people, I think it's easier to get this arm around. So take your right arm, wrap it around, and then catch either your belt or your inner thigh or your shin bone, whatever works for your body. So already you're starting to turn to your right side. Reach your left arm up and then catch the little toe side of your right foot, or you catch your belt. And now shooting off that arrow to your right hand corner. So abdomen back to your lower spine. Turn your abdomen, turn your chest, turn your gaze over that right shoulder. And pull with your hands to get the lift of the body and then the turning. Bringing this dorsal thoracic area deep into your back so that area underneath your shoulder blade and the shoulder blades to lift your chest and turn around the central axis of your body. And as you pull with your hands, you're going to shoot in that right hand corner. So you just like stringing that bow and just exploring the sensations. Throat soft. Very nice stimulation of the kidney area. And then from there, exhale, release. Come back into Dandasana. And then from there, come up to standing. Come closer to the camera. And I just want to show you all the different options. So for, I think, Jeroen and Luca, what I would recommend for you guys, I'm going to show this first, is that you sit on a chair. You sit on the edge of the chair. And you're going to be with your legs out to the side. And you can either put your hands on the floor, or if you can't reach, then you're going to take 2 blocks. Let me just sit a bit backwards so you can see. And then this is going to be your posture for the next one, just coming forward, because you'll get a nice opening here. Everybody else, you either going to sit on the floor, or you can sit on a folded blanket of whatever height, maybe double blanket, whatever you need. And you're going to take your other 2 blocks, and you're going to be in Uttanasana. And with the other 2 blocks, you're going to support yourself. So either it's going to be a little tower for your head like that, or whatever height you need. Or some of you that are coming closer to the floor, it's quite nice to support either on that height or on the flat height. 1 into your abdomen and 1 for your head. Okay. Otherwise, just make sure you're supporting your head on whatever height you need. Okay. If you can't reach your feet, your hands can also be on your shins. So come and sit in Dandasana. Those of you using a chair, you'll come to sit on your chair. Everybody's legs are together. And come and sit either on a blanket, or if you feel your hips are nice and open, you can also sit flat on the floor. And then those of you on the floor, open your legs wide into Uttanasana. Those on the chair, you're doing a similar thing, but your knees are going to be bent. Everybody take your hands and move your buttock flesh back. So you're seated on the knuckles of your sitting bones. And those of you on the floor, activate your legs, front thighs to back thighs. Your toes are facing directly upward. And then if you're on a chair, you might want 2 blocks for your hands, but if you can get your hands onto the floor, then that's fine. Everybody else is going to use, if you know your hamstrings are open, you're going to put 1 block to your abdominal area and 1 block for your head. If you're a little bit higher up, then you can take 1 block for your head here, or you can stack your blocks. and you're holding onto the outer edges of your feet, or you're holding onto your shin bones, or you can stretch your arms forward. So whatever it is that you need, making sure that you're supported and making sure that your pelvis is tilting forward. So if that's not happening, then you might need to sit a little bit higher up. And then again, let the focus be on this softening of the skin of your forehead to your heart. Letting the upper buttocks descend down to the floor. So there's a real anchoring into the sitting bones. And then again, get that connection of your tailbone to your pubic bone to your tailbone. So you get that lift of the pelvic floor and lift the pelvic floor through the spine to the base of your skull. Chest moving forward as your shoulder blades come into your back. And release the tops of your shoulders like a waterfall down your back so that your throat can be soft. And again, you're just exploring this moment, being in your body. Allowing your breath, allowing whatever physical sensations you're feeling, and allowing whatever emotions are coming up. It's the sense of softening into your essence. You can also take it on the medium height, Caramella. If you're not feeling it in your belly, you can turn it just one level up. Yes, exactly. Then it pushes you back. Yes, yeah. Last few moments. You might find that as you hold that you can go a little lower. Notice where you're holding, notice where you're gripping or hardening, and see for these last few breaths in the posture, can you let go? Wherever you feel you holding on too tight. So it's like you ironing out the knots in the body and the mind. And then from there, slowly come back up. Those of you on the floor, take your hands behind your knees so that you guide your legs together. Those of you on the chair can do the same thing, but you coming to seated, legs together. And then from there, come up and come into a dog stretch. So you're just ironing out, coming back into a neutral spine. And then from your dog stretch, you can use your blocks if you need to walk forward and come into Uttanasana. Knees can be bent, whatever it is that you need. So you're starting to intuitively feel what nourishes you. Then bring your hands onto your hips, lift your chest, and come up to standing. So we're going to end off with shoulder stand. And so again, those of you who feel that you're not such a big fan of going into Halasana, you can do your shoulder stand at the wall. If you have your moon flow and you don't feel like inverting, you're just going to be here. So just in Viparita Karani. But those of you who would like to, you can use your wall to set up your shoulder stand. Okay. And then for those of you who are doing your shoulder stand on the floor, again, we'll just use the blankets and the belt. So the blankets create the space so that the 7th cervical vertebra can actually come into the back. Otherwise, when that pushes down for prolonged periods of time, it's going to cause issues in the neck over time. And then the belt is to keep the elbows together. So your belt or your scarf, make it the size of your armpit to your armpit, so that you have it like that. Those of you who prefer your chair shoulder stand, you're welcome to set that up. If you've got full Iyengar props, you can use it. Otherwise, you're going to take your one blanket in a rectangle, little bit of space for your head, and then your second blanket on top of your first blanket. And I mean, preferably, this is why I'm always saying thick blankets, so that you can actually have a piece of blanket also for your head. But if you don't have that much blanket, it's fine. Then you just keep stack the two on top of each other. And the round, smooth edge is going to be where your head is. Then you take the bottom part of the mat and bring it over the blankets, but leave a thumb's distance apart there. Those of you setting up with Iyengar props, I'm sure you know exactly what to do. If you're not sure how to come into your shoulder stand, then please continue observing. Otherwise, you're going to lie down and come into your Halasana. And I'll be demonstrating here. Your belt is around one of your elbows, and it's going to come eventually when you're in the posture around your upper elbow points. Again, if you're not sure, continue to observe. Make sure you've got your neck straight, and then legs into Halasana. You can use support for your feet if you're not able to get your feet down. We'll start in Halasana. So this is where we'll all meet. For those of you not sure exactly where you're going, continue to watch. So eventually you'll bring your belt around the upper elbows, and then from there coming up. Okay, but everybody else, let's stay in Halasana, and then we'll go from Halasana, we'll all go up together. Those of you that are at the wall, your legs are just aligned up the wall. So you're in your Viparita Karani. So if you are in your Halasana, then please stay there. If you're at the wall, just keep your legs up the wall. Have your belt around one of your elbows if you are doing shoulder stand on the floor. And Jeroen, I would say get some support for your feet. If you have a chair or something, yeah, that's better. So let the legs be supported. Everybody, make sure you're keeping your neck in a straight line. So if you need to see something or ask a question, rather come out, and then you can always go back in. So everybody should be either in a Halasana position now, or your legs are up the wall. If you are in Halasana, walk your hands and your feet in two opposite directions. So make your stretch long. So your hands are going in one direction, your feet are going in the opposite direction, and stretch the whole back line of your body. That's it, Ilanya. Yeah. Now take your belt and bring it around the upper elbows. So it's above the elbow joint. And then from there, turn your palms so that your palms of your hands are facing up. So what the belt really does is it keeps your elbows together so that they don't slide out to the side. So for now, turn your palms up, bring your shoulder blades into your back, and then bend your elbows and bring your hands onto your back. Compact your outer hips and bring your legs straight up. Those of you at the wall, you'll bend your knees and you can lift your pelvis up. If you've got your moon flow, you just stay with your legs up against the wall. And if you are at the wall, you can also interlock your fingers behind your back and rock onto your shoulders before you go up.
Once you are up, then walk your hands closer to your shoulder blades so that and make sure that the palms of your hands are spread wide. You're pushing your hands into your shoulder blades and lift up your spine. Bring your middle buttocks forward towards your pelvis. So you get that action of the middle buttocks coming towards your pelvis, front thighs to back thighs. And make sure that the front of your body is open. So shoulder stand is a front body posture. The front body is open. So most of us don't have enough weight in the elbows. So let there be equal weight in your elbows and the tops of your shoulders. Outer hips compact. Letting the legs come together. And lift up from your inner groins to your inner ankles. So make your legs weightless as you lift them up. Take a few final breaths here, just recognizing yourself in the moment. Feeling your body, feeling your breath, allowing whatever it is that you're feeling. And then if you are coming down against the wall, your feet are going to go at the wall and you just settle yourself down. If you're in the middle of the room, come back into Halasana, legs up and overhead. And then remove your belt and stay in your Halasana, changing the interlock of your fingers and stretching your hands and your feet away from each other. Open the whole back line of your body. And then from there, turn your palms of your hands down. And very, very slowly unroll yourself and come to lie down on your back, knees bent, feet flat onto the floor. Just stay there. Let your head and your neck relax and feel your breath. Feel your heartbeat. Those of you at the wall can now roll to your side. And then everybody roll to your side, press your hands down to the floor and come up to seated. Undo your mat. And we're going to come into one last shape before Shavasana, but have your blankets close by if you're using them for your Shavasana. Whatever comforts you're going to use, have it close by. But come and have a look. We're going to do a variation of Matsyasana. A very simple variation of Matsyasana using a block. So the block will come kind of 1/3 into your mat. There will be space for your head. And just observe. So the block is going to be between your shoulder blades. And your knees are going to stay bent as they are, like here. And if you've got a bigger pony, you might need to release it. You're going to balance from there the crown of your head onto the floor. Your throat area open and your arms relaxed. So just in this way, just allowing that complete space and release. And then to come out, you'll be rolling off to the side, removing your block, and then setting yourself up with whatever it is that you need for your Shavasana. So come back to your mat, take your block, and bring it 1/3 into your mat. And then when you set that up, come and lie down so that your shoulder blades are kind of meeting in the middle of that block. Knees are bent, outer edges of your feet square. And then take the crown of your head onto the floor. So your jaw is open, your throat is open. And then relax your arms beside your body.
Let your shoulders relax. And just a few spacious breaths, just allowing yourself to be there. Knees are bent, your feet are on the floor. Megs, just bend your knees, step your feet onto the, yeah, that's it, you are. So the inner thighs, the inner groins can roll down. Palms of your hands facing up. Let the balance be precisely on the crown of your head. So you're stimulating the crown. And just feeling that openness in your own heart space. That open expression of your throat, allowing the feelings, whatever it is that is present inside you right now, allowing that. And in that allowing, there's the dissolving. And being cautious now, bend your right elbow beside your right ear and roll your body onto your right side. Just remember you are on height. Press your hands down to the floor and then remove your block and set yourself up for Shavasana. So if you feel any sensation in your lower back, you all know that you can take either a bolster if you have one available, or you can take your 2 blocks behind your thighs. Take support for under your head. Take a blanket over you if you need it. So whatever your body needs for your final resting shape. And then also to let those of you who do have an appointment right now to know that it's just gone 1:15. So if you can afford a minute or two Shavasana, please do so. Otherwise, if you need to log off, then you're also welcome to do that. So, but just be aware of it. So as you lie yourself down, let your exhale breath give you that complete feeling of surrender and that feeling of allowing yourself to just unfurl from the inside outward. So that there's a feeling of expansion, a feeling of openness of being. Just very gently allow your breath to become slightly fuller and deeper once again.
Bend your elbows and bring your hands either to your abdomen or to your chest. Bend your knees, step your feet onto the floor. And then reach either your right or your left arm up and roll your body onto your side and just stay there for a moment, resting your cheek on your upper arm. Then press your hands down into the earth. When you sit yourself up, let your head come up last. So you keeping your head quiet and come and sit in whatever position feels comfortable for you. Your palms of your hands together at your heart, your spine lifted. There's that openness in your central channel, that allowing of this experience in your body in this moment right now. And namaste. Thank you all for your awesomeness. Thank you for joining. Have a wonderful day. And if you feel to stay for a chat, then you can unmute yourself and come and chat. Have a lovely one, everybody. Bye.